Brian Thompson.
And this is a Vortex?
Vortex, yeah.
Tell me about this, because it's not a kit as such, is it?
No, it's built from a set of plans, American plans, date from the sort of late 80s, early 90s. I had the plans for ages. I thought I was doing nothing with my spare time, so I thought I'd try and make it, see if I could make a viable car, really. But yeah, it took me 7 years to build.
So the plans were a set of patterns for a marine ply, was it? Marine
Yes.
ply so that was
half-inch plywood chassis. Yeah.
Right.
And then metal subframes, steel subframes.
and onto that to create the bodywork.
You glue lots of polyurethane foam blocks, carve it to shape, fiberglass over the top, rub it down to get a smooth finish, and then cut out opening panels such as the engine cover, doors, boot, etc. And then you have to make all the return lips and the rain channeling and stuff like that. So it's an involved process. It does take up a lot of time, but the result is I'm pleased with it.
And as people will imagine from watching this, just the description of what's involved, 7 years is pretty good going.
It is. I think I did keep a record. I think it's roughly about 3,500 hours work, something like that. So yeah, I spread over 7 years. That's not too bad an average sort of per day. It doesn't rule your life really.
And the front suspension, is that Triumph Spitfire?
Triumph Spitfire, yeah, well proven, double wishbone, and all the parts are available brand new still, so there wasn't a problem. Spitfire steering rack as well.
And the rear end, you mentioned you've got Triumph
Trophy 1200 engine, and in a fabricated subframe with fabricated rear suspension as well.
And you've deviated a little bit in the styling from the Vortex, which looked, I suppose you could call it a three-wheel Lamborghini in terms of it was all wedge and flat,
Quite
wasn't it?
wedge and flat shape. I decided to go for the curved windscreen, and that dictated the styling really. Once I'd chosen the curved windscreen, then everything else had to be curved, like the screen pillars and the door frames and stuff. It was just such a complicated route to go down once I decided that, and so the body you see there doesn't really resemble the Vortex standard, if there is a standard Vortex available, but it doesn't really resemble the American ones too much.
Which makes it even more special because this is truly unique.
Yeah.
And obviously the thing I love about this is you've got a sports three-wheeler, but it's practical as well. You could, literally go for a holiday with this. Yeah,
the boot, you can get weekend luggage in the boot quite easily. It's quite a deep boot, a couple of folding chairs for shows and things. Yeah, and carry your food around. It is practical, and also obviously you're out the elements. Although the roof does come off if you do want the sunshine. So
yeah, best of both worlds.
Indeed.
And it's hard to say which was the most challenging bit for you, because the whole project is more challenging than most people would. But there must be certain bits that you're particularly proud of that sort of you nailed it. The windscreen was your starting point.
Yeah.
And the rest of the styling evolved from that, didn't it?
Yeah. The doors, I think, are nice. The operation of the doors I really like, and also the interior styling. I had a few ideas to start with, and it just evolved as I was doing it, and it came out really well. Yeah.
And that's come out looking really professional as well. And as a professional car upholsterer saying that, and not just anybody saying that, that really is a professional looking interior.
Thanks very much. Yeah, the leather was just bought from eBay, and maybe a few boot sales here and there. Lots of contact adhesive used in it, and not a lot of stitching involved. It's all staples and glue really, but the result you can get doing that, yeah, I do like it, yeah.
And it does fit the quality of the rest of the car as well. It fits in with all the work that you've put into it. So how often are you able to use it?
Not that often, not as often as I would like, because I've got the other car, the Mirov, and that also you have to use them both, and I do try and take them to shows. I work half the weekends of the year, so I can't go to all the shows I'd like to go to, but it does get used if I can. I do take it to work sometimes just for commuting, which is fun.
And how many miles to the gallon are you getting out of it?
At the moment, with the single fuel pump that I've got mounted on there, I get 36 to the gallon. But I'm having a few issues with the top end fueling, a bit of fuel starvation, so I'm going to fit a second pump, and I expect the fuel consumption to drop a little bit after that.
And I mean, the performance of the Triumph is well known, so you're not talking about something that's going to hang around. How many horsepower is it? 130, 140?
I think it's about 110.
110?
Yeah, but there's a lot of torque there. Yeah.
Which is what you need really
Yeah.
with a three-wheeler.
Yeah.
And what's the all-up weight of the vehicle?
800 kilograms, which is slightly heavier than I was aiming for, but if I made another one, I could make it lighter because I know where I can save weight.
That's always the problem with a one-off, but
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful thing. It's beautiful, and the details as well. You've thought through everything. I mean, you know, everything's finger light. You know, there's no sort of struggling with a heavy, you know, with a heavy door panel or a heavy boot panel, a rear.
It's got to be easy to live with, otherwise you wouldn't use it. It's got to be as easy to live with as a standard car. Like the rain channeling around the doors, keeps the weather out, gas struts to hold the doors up, and easy to open boot, and easy to open engine cover. So yeah, it's got to be easy to live with.
And how stable, when you're driving along, obviously people are going to go, oh, three-wheelers, you know, obviously you've got the wheels at the front, so it's more stable than your Reliance and so on. Everything's within the wheelbase, which is the ideal for good handling. But what's it like? Is it quite stable?
It's very stable, very planted, because it's such a long wheelbase, and the track at the front is about 6 inches wider than the Triumph Spitfire suspension that is used, because you put extensions on the steering rack. So yeah, and the weight is in the right place as well, with the engine being quite up forwards. So
yes.
It's like mid-mounted.
It's right on the rear bulkhead, isn't it?
You've got to keep the weight within that triangle, and it is. And all the fuel tanks are low mounted as well, so it keeps the weight where it should be.
And have you any idea how much it cost you to build this? Because you can't really put a price on the labour, but in terms of materials?
That was approximately £15,000. I saved money doing the paintwork myself. That was done with a roller by hand and then rubbed down afterwards. But £4,000 of that 15,000 was the windscreen. I had to get tooling made to make the windscreen, so that the windscreen and glass was 4,000. So that was the single biggest expense really. That was an unforeseen expense.
That said, something looking this beautiful for £15,000, you cannot go to a showroom and buy it.
No.
And it's a credit to you.
Thank you very much.